Check Podcasts. Hi, I'm Bruce Williams. Welcome to Chamber Chats. I'm the CEO of the Greater Victoria Chamber of Commerce, and as always, we are recording today in the podcasting studios of the Czech Media Centre. Very proud to say that Czech is one of our chamber champions. So is our guest coming up on the program today. I want to begin always by acknowledging that I live and work in the ancestral unceded territories of the Lekwungen-speaking nations, known to us as the Songhees and the Esquimalt. And Chamber Chats is made possible by the support of Island Savings, a division of First West Credit Union. I'm going to bet that at some point in your life, you've given some thought to retirement. What's that going to look like later on in your life? Whether it's for you, other family members, maybe your parents, your grandparents. The options that are available are much different than they were even just a few years ago, because it's a whole lifestyle thing as we all are healthier as we get older. And I know it's been on your mind to talk about retirement, so we're going to do that today. My guest is Lesley Sikorski, who is the Director of Sales and Marketing and Internal Community Engagement with Berwick Retirement Communities, also a chamber champion. And Lesley, welcome to the program.
Hi, Bruce. Thank you.
You know, when we talk about the fact that the idea of a community is what this is, you know, when I was younger, people would refer to, well, I'm never going into a nursing home. It's not like that anymore at all. I mean, tell me about the whole spirit and the adventure that happens in a community like yours.
It really stems from the teams that work there. And of course, our philosophy has stemmed around how can we provide a environment that really helps older adults thrive. And what does that look like? And with a lot of seniors these days, we know that they want to be able to age on their own terms. So we do our best to, really envision and think about the types of programs, activities, environments that can help older adults and seniors age exactly as they want to on their own terms.
Like even the facilities that your organization puts together, they're spectacular to look at, if nothing else. But when you go inside, it's another whole story altogether. But let's talk about the vision behind how these communities have been created and what sort of thought goes into that.
So the vision really stemmed from our founder, Gordon Denford. His vision stemmed from when he was trying to find a place for his own mother. And he couldn't find a community that he felt was inclusive enough for seniors where they would be able to thrive. So he decided to build his own. So in 1989, he built Berwick House. And what he wanted to do was create an environment where seniors could come and still be able to make connections. So he designed the buildings to have ample amenities. And Chris Denford, his son, has taken that vision to a whole new level. So most of the communities that we have today are authentic. They have so much thought put into them as far as the design component. They are built to really encourage community style living. And when we talk about authentic English pubs in our communities, there truly are authentic English pubs. Chris goes to the efforts of sourcing antiques, artwork, light fixtures, you name it, from estate sales to really bring in that true authenticity. Every single amenity space that we have offers a different experience. So we believe that is where, friendships are created and people can make new connections.
Yeah, and when I refer to what things used to be like, for example, my mother spent her final years in a place in Ontario that had nothing even close to the character of what your properties do, because it's that whole lifestyle that you're creating for people. So was Shelburne the first one?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the one on Shelburne, I think a lot of people know that. But you take a look at some of the other ones and the place that these structures have, and for example, Campbell River, the one that you built in Campbell River is almost a landmark. Tell me about that one.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time researching the communities we want to build in. So we don't just go into a community and erect a structure. It's nothing like that. We are incredibly collaborative with the city. We want to be able to understand the historical significance of this location in particular, and build something that complements the community. So it's about building something that enhances the lives of the residents that reside there and really brings something special to the communities that we're in.
Yeah, when we were doing, I'll use my reference again, we were looking for a place for my mother to live. Pretty much everything you saw was a very boxy building, had the feel of a nursing home. There wasn't a whole lot of activity and vibrance to them as well. But you've changed that. I used to live in Nanaimo, and I lived very near Long Lake. And your facility in Nanaimo on Long Lake is beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful building.
Yeah, we love it. And what's really cool about that is in recent years, we've had a lot more residents express interest in learning how to swim in the lake. So right now we're working on building adaptable stairs off the dock so that we can get residents in the lake. And then this past summer, we brought a dragon boat down, and we helped them get into the dragon boat, and they were rowing on the lake. So it's really, again, we're intentional about the places that we build. We're intentional about the locations. We really don't like to be in oversaturated locations with lots of different retirement communities. We spend a lot of time making sure the location we want to is right.
I mean, you're swimming and kayaking. That's active living, right?
Yeah.
So, and I want to talk a little bit more about these facilities because, again, they are landmarks in the communities where they are. And when we think of places where seniors live on Vancouver Island, people often think, oh, Parksville, Qualicum. That's where they all are. Your newest facility is there too. Tell me about that.
Parksville opened in July of 2022. It's 189 suites. It was such an exciting building for us to open because it was 2 years of construction and lease up during the pandemic. So we really didn't know which way this was going to go. But we had an overwhelming response. I mean, the group were 70% occupied as of today, which is really exciting. And the group that lives there, they're just a remarkable group of older adults. I mean, they are so passionate about life. They have incredible zest. They're curious. They want to learn. They want to embrace new things. And it's a younger age demographic than we have seen at some of our other communities. So already it's provided us such an incredible landscape to learn from. What the boomers, are interested in, what their expectations are, what they want to see as far as a resort style retirement lifestyle.
And you've got one that's also not on the island. You're in Qualicum Beach, Comox, but Kamloops. Does the Kamloops one differ from the ones on the island?
No, it's same philosophy. I mean, we picked a very strategic location. It's at the top of the hill, and the view when you walk into Berwick on the park is of the valley. It's really truly breathtaking. It's probably one of the most beautiful views of all the Berwicks. But we've just gone through a major modernization there. We've added again an English pub, a billiards room, a new theater, a huge Zoom room, which is our fitness center, and just again our Tweeds Coffee, which is another signature amenity space, and really building upon the amenities and trying to offer more of a balanced, holistic lifestyle that encourages older adults and the residents to embrace life.
Which I think is going to keep them healthier for a longer period of time too, right? Which is a huge factor in this, right?
Oh yeah, there's so much compelling evidence of being active, staying physically fit, eating healthy, getting lots of sleep that translates into longevity. So those are really strong pillars for us to make sure we build that into our active living programming, into our menu offerings. Again, offering them spaces where they can embrace new things or take on hobbies that are really important to them that still allow them to feel purpose and give them joy.
So I'll go back one more time in my own family history, but when my mother moved into the place where she was living, it was mandatory that she use a walker. It was just made a mandatory thing. But I have to think that there are people that go into your places that Berwick has that get healthier while they're there because they're more active than they were before they were there.
Oh yeah, we see that happen for sure. We also have people though that move in who have mobility aids for this, that, and the other, and that's okay. We strategically build so that we can offer a location where people can age in place. We have our own assisted living services called Enhanced Living Services run by Berwick. So again, someone moves in independent. At some point they may experience some decline in their lives, and we want to make sure we have not only the infrastructure, but the supports in place to help them live active longer.
So what I want to talk about next is the actual people who are going into these communities. Our guest on Chamber Chats today is Lesley Sikorski. She's the Director of Sales, Marketing, and Internal Community Engagement with Berwick Retirement Communities. So the people that are coming in the door, Lesley, what's the average age? How old are these folks now?
Yeah, we've seen a decrease in the average age. So for Parksville, our average age is 82. And some of our other communities, it's 85 to 86. But again, with the changing over of the generations and the boomers are coming up, we are seeing a wider range of people. We have people as young as 55. We have people as old as 103. I mean, it really depends on preferences. And I think that's for us, the most important aspect is not pigeonholing our communities as a retirement facility. It's a resort style independent lifestyle for people, and they can come in when they feel like that's the type of living that they would like to embrace.
What is the gender ratio? Is it more men, more women? What's the balance there?
Historically, it's more women than men, typically around a 70-30 ratio, but we are, again, that's changing too. It depends on the demographics. We tend to see a bit of a higher ratio of men in Campbell River, for example.
Hmm.
And in Qualicum, we see a bit of a higher ratio. In Parksville, it's about 60-40.
Those are good odds if you're
Good odds.
looking to stay active in all particular ways that you might want to
Great
talk about.
odds. Yeah.
Let's talk a second too, though. There are people who will have various levels of ability, as you said, who might need some sort of care. So what's the range of all that stuff? What range of care do you provide?
Yeah, our business model is primarily independent and assisted living. We do have three communities, two of which are in Victoria, that are the full continuum. So we have independent, assisted, and licensed care. So that a person can move in, presumably, when they're independent, and really, and as they need more care, they can actually stay at Berwick until at which point they either, need to go somewhere else because they have higher needs that we can actually be able to support, or they pass away.
And what's the way to put this? How advanced medical care is available rather on site?
Yeah, it's complex care. We don't do memory care at any of our Berwicks, so there's some amazing memory care locations all over that we would recommend highly. And we don't typically do, an overhead lift, so it's more of an intermediate care offering.
So complex care means that it's individual care, like everybody's assessed and whatever yeah.
Yes.
So now that we're going to have this conversation to continue here for a couple of minutes, but if someone is watching us right now thinking, well, I need to make some choices for my parents or for my grandparents or for myself, what are the questions that should be in play with everybody making this decision?
Well, we've got some really wonderful community relations team members who are the people that would be able to guide someone through an experience of just trying to understand what independent, assisted, or long-term care is. I think the biggest thing we like to do is be able to empower the person on the other side of us to make the decision on their own. So answering the questions, what's the lifestyle like, what are meals like, what's included in the cost, do I have flexibility, can I come and go when I want, can I bring all my furniture in, there's so many questions when you're making a transition into a community lifestyle like this. There's a giant list, and all we typically recommend is sit down with one of our community relations professionals, and we're here to guide them through the process. At the end of the day, if they decide that it's really not the right lifestyle for them, that's totally okay. We've still done our job. We've been able to help guide someone through really trying to make the best decision for themselves when it comes to this.
Okay. Can you come and go as you like?
Yes, you sure can.
Can you bring your own furniture?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Are any of them furnished? There must be some that are furnished.
We want people to come and design it's just like an apartment building. You come and
cool.
you dress up your suite the way you want it.
Okay. And these are all rental units, correct? You don't buy in. It's not a condo
No.
model. No. Okay.
Oh.
And let's talk now again about what's being offered. So what is this, like an all-inclusive resort? Is that what this is? Is it like what's
Pretty much.
included? What's included
Yeah.
in this?
It's your meals. So you get continental breakfast, a lunch, dinner by Red Seal chefs. I have to shout out to our culinary teams because they're amazing.
Yeah.
The food offering is fantastic. It's really hard for me to go to restaurants when I'm staying in a community with a Berwick because I just want to eat there. We have utilities, so heat, electricity, air conditioning in most situations, Wi-Fi, cable. We have 24/7 pendant for emergency response. We've got security. We have a full social wellness program and transportation services. So we have our Berwick About Town courtesy car, which we call our Batmobile, and our
That's great. Berwick around town, the Batmobile. I love it. And if anybody has medical needs where they have to take medications and stuff, there's reminders for that, I'm assuming too.
Yes. So if they are a candidate that needs assisted living services, then they would join our enhanced living program. And we have RCAs or nurses in place to support them.
What about the sort of the floor plans in these? Are they all the same, or there's varieties, there's different levels?
We have so many different varieties of floor plans, Bruce. We've got we have a small number of studios typically. Our largest inventory sits in a one bedroom. We have one in dens and two bedrooms. And typically at most of our properties, we have a few premium suites, which we label as penthouses.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, to go to the conversation that family members are having, they want to make sure that this is as seamless as possible and that
Yep.
everybody's going to be comfortable and they can take prized possessions and cherish things with them and they can do all that. I
Mhm.
am a bit of a foodie and I want to talk about that again next. Our guest on Chamber Chats today is Lesley Sikorski. She is the Director of Sales and Marketing and Internal Community Engagement with Berwick Retirement Communities. And we're having this conversation because retirement is always in everyone's thoughts, whether it's for yourself or other family members. So we want to make sure that a lot of these questions can be asked. So let's talk a little bit more about the food. There are a lot of people who, as they age, have some restrictions with their diet, whether it's related to heart disease or diabetes or whatever. That can all be taken care of, right?
Yeah, so we again, our directors of hospitality and our chefs are again very intentional when they create a menu. So our menus change seasonally. We have multiple dining venues at our communities. So again, it gives people the choice to decide what type of lunch, dinner, breakfast venue they'd like to enjoy in a day. We do when we do a menu, put together a menu, we will always label if it's heart smart, ocean wise, gluten sensitive, dairy sensitive, vegetarian. So those are all offerings we would be able to support. And again, typically on a day to day, we have 6 or 7 different offerings someone can choose from. They can go to in most of our places that have pubs. They can go to the pub. They can go to the bistro for lunch. They can go to the dining room for a more formal experience. We have private dining rooms at our venues as well. So if a resident wanted to host a girls' night or an anniversary party, they can do that. They can book the dining room and they can either order off the menu or sometimes our chefs will do a special menu for them that they can experience.
Because as we've said, people tend to take better care of themselves now. So seniors are healthier than previous generations. So people that have been taking care of themselves and have particular food requirements, needs, or wants, that you can manage that, right?
For the most part. I mean, we don't have a we don't have a separate kitchen for gluten free. We're not there yet, but we do, again, really take a lot of time to ensure our menu that we offer on a regular basis has a plethora of options for people's of different tastes and preferences. That's really important.
And these are communities, as you say, you're building community, and people will come in there possibly knowing other residents, but possibly not. So I would
Mhm.
have to think there has to be a strong collegial character that builds up. That people kind of make new friendships, even, pardon the expression, even at their age, they can make new friends.
Yeah. I mean, they're welcoming, and I think we have a typically a group of residents that love to be involved, and they become our resident ambassadors. So anytime a new resident moves in, we will connect them with one of our resident ambassadors, so that person can take them and really allow them to show the building through the eyes of someone who already lives there and introduce them to different people. Part of our discovery too, we really like to get to know every single person that moves into our building. So if we're noticing that they like certain things or have interests in certain areas, we're able to, through the use of some of our systems, be able to pull different people who may have the same likes so
Yeah.
that we can connect them to.
What about the people that say, I just want to be left alone?
That's totally fine. I mean, there's lots of people that just want to be left alone. They enjoy their suite, they're private people, they come and go as they please. That's 100% okay.
Yeah. So I want to also kind of talk about what the process is. So like, how if somebody decides, yes, I'm gonna move into a Berwick community,
Mhm.
how long does that process take? Like, are there always availabilities?
It depends on the community. So some of our communities run with wait lists, and certain suite types are super popular. So our 2 bedrooms at most of our sites probably have a 1 to 2 year wait list. So if that's really important to somebody, it's best to think about having the conversation about independent living earlier than they may think, because it often takes time to actually get into the suite that they desire. Um, I would say most of our properties operate at around a 96 to 97% occupancy rate, so high, which we're very fortunate. We feel very fortunate about because a lot of our partners in the senior living industry struggled through the pandemic with occupancy. The one site that's still in lease up is Parksville, so they've got that.
You hear of a lot of circumstances where people have a parent or a grandparent who has a bad turn or something happens or their health fails, and then they are forced to leave where they were living to go into a community like yours. So this
Yeah.
planning ahead, which again, in my family, my mother was relatively okay when we made the
hmm
decision to move her out of her house into the community where she ended up. That's really worth considering, isn't it? It's a tough conversation, but it's got to be held.
It's again, I can't say this enough because I've had to go through it with my own family too.
Mm.
It's in the best case scenario is when someone has been empowered to make the decision on their own, because then they're walking into a community and a lifestyle that they've chosen, not because something happened. When they're in a crisis situation, not only are they having to transition quickly, they don't get the time that they need to say goodbye to their family home and go through the process of grieving their memorabilia, and then it just becomes this overwhelming thing that they have to endure versus it being something enjoyable. So I can't applaud that enough. Please plan ahead.
Yeah, and have that conversation now with you or
Yeah.
someone like that at Berwick. We have a little bit of time left. I want to talk for a second though about the gentleman you mentioned earlier. Gordon Denford is a man that I've had the pleasure and privilege of knowing for quite some time. What a remarkable guy! He's 96 and he's going strong.
He is amazing. I mean, there are so many fans of Gordon Denford. I feel like the Berwick team though is the biggest. We're his biggest fans. He truly is extraordinary. He's a serial entrepreneur, so passionate. He is someone that when an obstacle kind of comes at him, he just pivots and goes in whatever direction he needs to go. He's the kindest man. I mean, it doesn't, and his memory is so sharp. So, I've told him things 3 years ago that he'll mention in passing. So he makes everybody feel special. And that, again, feeling and philosophy really trickles throughout the entire organization.
Yeah, he's a guy who was one of our lifetime achievement recipients at the Chamber, and we then inducted him into the Greater Victoria Business Hall of Fame last year. But he's a guy who he was born in Britain, in England, but he had to
Mhm.
leave because of the war, right? And that's what
Yes,
brought him here.
that's right. Yeah, he landed in Winnipeg. He was all by himself. He did end up living with a foster family, and he made his way out west. And then, he's started so many different businesses. He's one of the founders of the Canadian Western Bank,
Mhm.
because he couldn't get funding at the time, and decided that he'd rally a bunch of friends and start their own bank. And then he's remarkable. And then again, being able for him not settling on something for his mom, that he wanted to find the right place, so he decided to build it himself.
Yeah. He's a remarkable guy, and these are actually remarkable communities. They are, as I say, landmarks in the place where they are existing, and the communities they create for the seniors that live in them are really an exceptional experience. So bear in mind that if you're dealing with parents and grandparents or yourself, there are great options out there. Lesley, thank you for being here today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Bruce. I really appreciate you allowing me to come on.
Lesley Sikorski is the Director of Sales, Marketing, and Internal Community Engagement with Berwick Retirement Communities. There is one located near you. I'm Bruce Williams. We'll see you again on another Chamber Chat.